All right, it is Max Rohskopf. Rated R is back. It's good to see you, Max. Listen, we all know the story. We've lived through it. You know, UFC debut. You took 14 months away. I guess I'm just curious, what got you to say, "Yeah, I'm ready to start fighting again, man. Let's put that period behind and let's get going again."
Uh, I think it started with just the people around me, my friends, and coaching at Gold Rush Wrestling Academy. And it was actually one of the parents that was like the actually one of the conversation that I had with one of my parents is the reason why I started training again. They're not necessarily the reason I fought again, but they're the ones that got me back in the gym.
That's awesome, man. I'd have been that parent if I wasn't a journalist along the way. I'd have had that
Yeah.
same conversation with you, man. So I'm happy it happened. You come back, you get into Cage Warriors, 2-0 in 2021. I guess talk to me about those performances, just how you felt. Was it comfortable? Was it difficult getting back in there after the time away? What'd you think about those wins?
It wasn't easy, and I hated every second of it at that time. I hated it. I was losing my mind like 2-3 weeks out before each one. Once I was there, cutting the weight and doing all that stuff, I freaking hated it. I was telling Eric and Nate both times, I'm like, I'm never doing this shit after this. After this fight, I'm done. I'm definitely not. I was like, I'm just gonna smash whoever. Both times, I was like, I'm gonna smash this guy and I'm done, and then I'm gonna leave. Um, didn't end up working out that way, but um, it wasn't fun. It kind of reminded me of the when I was a kid though, and I was wrestling, and I just started wrestling, and I loved wrestling, but I hated everything else. I was like an angry kid, and it kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Whereas like I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna compete, but right now I'm not freaking happy.
It's crazy. But you know what's funny is it's not like that's necessarily a unique thing just to you, right? Like I think about like Donald Cerrone. I mean, one of the guys that did it more than anybody else said, I hate it. Every time it's like, I'm not doing this again. Like, what am I doing? So I guess what brings you back to it? I mean, why not just be like, the hell with this? I don't need this.
Well, fucking part of me needs it. I have no other. I coach wrestling. I have no degree. I have no. I have nothing other than I can fight kinda, not even that well, kinda.
You're modest. You're modest. You can fight, my man. You can fight.
Not enough to make a living, not
Well,
yet anyway.
I was gonna say, hopefully that'll change, right? Now you're in the big show. Bellator comes coming. I guess I'll ask you, when the contract was out, did you have an idea that, hey, this Bellator opportunity was possible? Were you chasing this, or how did this all come together?
No, it just happened. I was offered a short notice fight after my fight fell through in Cage Warriors. Like a week after, I was losing my mind. It was the same thing as the other Cage Warriors fights. I was like all pissed off, and I was telling my manager Brian Butler to, like if there's anything available right now, like let's take it because I'm in shape. I just did my camp or whatever that is, and got offered to fight someone in Bellator on short notice, and that person turned me down. And then that's when they offered my manager a contract for me.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So yeah, I was gonna say 2022, a rough year, right? Couple canceled fights, I guess. I mean, how did you balance that out? Did you stay in the gym the whole time? Was it difficult? I know it's hard to prepare when you don't know what you're preparing for, right?
Yeah, I stayed in the gym. It's ever since I took the 8-ish months off from fighting completely. Besides those months, since I was 12, I've been in the gym every day. It's nothing's changed. Other than that time I took away completely. Yeah, I was just trying to balance, coaching at Gold Rush and working a part-time job and then training as well. So it was not easy.
But we're here. Camp is Extreme Couture now. Is that home base? I know you kind of bounced around Vegas a little bit, but is Extreme Couture home base now?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And Gold Rush Academy still part of the routine as well.
Yes, it is.
I love it. I'm just telling anybody right now. If you want a good coach for your kid, take him to go see Max Rohskopf over at Gold Rush Academy. He's a phenomenal coach for children. I'll vouch for that personally, man. Did you take any time off, like for this camp? I mean, did you ask to be away, or are you still in there coaching the kids, like as you're getting ready for a fight?
I'm still in there coaching the kids.
I love it. I love it. All right, we'll talk about this fight. We got the contract. Now we got a fight coming up. Mike Hamel, Bellator 286, October 1st. Fellow wrestler background, I guess. I mean, what do you know about him? What do you think about the fight?
I knew he was a wrestler. I know where he trains at the MMA lab. Other than that, I didn't know much about him. Yeah, and then I heard in one of the interviews earlier today that like he told his game plan or whatever. And so other than that, I don't know anything.
Well, that was nice of him. He just gave you the game plan already, like through another interview.
That's what he said, but I think fighters lie when they give interviews.
I think they do too. But
Yeah.
you know what's funny is when two wrestlers though. I mean, it's historical, right? Two wrestlers. What happens? It cancels each other out. They end up standing and banging. I mean, are you anticipating that might happen, or do you feel like maybe your brand of wrestling is a little bit better than his brand of wrestling?
It's hard to say. I'll know once I feel it. Once I'm in
Yeah.
there, and I know after, probably about a minute or two of reading what's happening and understanding what he's trying to do, then I'll know what kind of fight it'll be.
So let me ask you, Max. I mean, as we're getting ready a couple days out, I mean, as you sit there, are you like, I hate this, or are you are you excited about this?
I'm grateful for the opportunity to just be able to go out and compete and not really worry about anything else. This is the first time all day since 12 o'clock today I've been doing the interviews or whatever. This is the only time I've really thought about, I guess, other people, or I guess the outside world, about anything. I've just been trying to focus on what I can do and what I am capable of. And I'm just grateful to be able to go out and fight again.
That's well said, man. That's well said. Let me ask you about maybe the nerve side of it, not necessarily the fight of it, but I just wonder about the performance in front of a crowd, right? Because when you fought in the UFC, that was pandemic area, man. I mean, there's like 200 people in the Apex now. When you were there, it was like 3. You know what I mean? So are you nervous about being in front of a crowd again, or is that, I mean, your wrestling days, does that kind of go aside? What does it feel like to be out in front of a big crowd again?
Well, I'm not there yet, so I don't know what it feels like, but just going back from my wrestling days, I did have a little bit of a knack of performing very well when it was just one match in a duel and there was a lot of people there. That was what I like to do the most. I didn't like the tournaments where it was 15 different matches going on and there's a lot of people, but the eyeballs were going everywhere. I always wrestled my best when I was in duels, and it was all eyes on the match that's going on right now. And with the help of all my teammates, coaches, and friends behind me, it was hard to not feel happy with the performance, regardless of winning or losing. So I'm hoping it feels good again.
I love it, man. Well, I'm certain it will. Talk to me about what's the goal now. You're in a big show. You know Bellator is going to get you fights. I mean, is the idea to be as busy as possible, make a run up the rankings and chase titles and all that, or is this just about, I don't know, fighting every now and then? Whatever. I mean, what is the purpose and your goal here?
Ideally, I'd like to be as active as I can. But you've known me almost this whole time. It doesn't work out at all. If you would have told me 5 or 6 years ago when I turned pro that I'd have only 8 fights by now, I'd be like, whatever, I'll have 18, but I don't have that. So it's hard I used to be a very heavy planner of the future. I would always try to plan things out. I have no plan right now. I'm just worried about today. Once I'm trying about to go to sleep tonight, I'll start worrying about a little bit about tomorrow, and that's about it. I'm not looking too far ahead. I would like to stay active, though. I think that's important. It would be important to me, but I also don't know if I'd even like that because I've never been active, ever.
You know what's funny though is you're saying I'm not going to worry about the things I can't control, man. I'm going to live in the present and can control what I can control. That's not a bad attitude to have.
It's the only one that keeps me sane. Everything else makes me crazy.
I love it, man. Well, listen, hopefully you can stay sane. You know that I'm personally happy to see you back. I cannot wait to see you in Bellator. Last thing I'll ask for you, Max. I mean, I guess you really can't know until you're in there, but what are you expecting here? I mean, can you go do something dominant and make some kind of huge statement, or is this just like let's get in there, let's get a win, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, I've done that through my whole athletic career, where I've shown instances of being very, very dominant and exciting, and there's other times where I've looked like absolute horseshit. So it's hard to say what's going to happen next weekend, but it's I'm trying to go more off of, seeing how I feel that day and feeling what I feel when it's time to go out and fight. But I've definitely have shown instances of getting dominant finishes. Yes.
I love it. Well, Max, I know you're busy, so I won't take any more of your time. As the professional I am, I'll be impartial, and whoever wins, the best man will win. But inside, I'm pulling for you. I'm happy to see you back, my man.
Thank you.